Okay, so today we're going to talk about a drawing that's in this sketchbook, which is kind of important because this is one of the sketchbooks that I first started drawing in with my opposite hand because of my nerve situation with my hands I was having at the time. See? So, in here is the very first watercolor painting I did of a battery baby. This is the very first drawing that I did of it. And it's a little blue person thing. It's got a little antenna to receive messages and whatnot. It's got these little screws because it's got a few screws loose. We also have a little battery pack. It's got a little plus and minus on it. And this one, it has this little orange jumper little stripe. It's like a throwback to Bruce Lee. That's what that is. The purpose of these sketchbooks is not really to draw perfect at all, it's just to draw something. At the time I was going through a lot of stuff with my hands because of nervous condition I had. So I was teaching myself how to draw my opposite hand. And you say, well, Winfred, how does that have anything to do with the stuff you do now? Well, these books are the books that I got a lot of my current ideas from. And even now, when I draw something, I usually draw with my right hand first. So let's tell you a little story about what a battery baby is. Once upon a time, long, long ago, in a distant land. No, this is kind of like pre-Earth, but it's also in the future. It's like before Earth existed, there was a future. And yeah. There are these gods, and one of the gods was exiled because he would make things, and every time he created something, it would cause all these problems, and the other gods would have to deal with it. The gods are not like super stern people. They're more like fraternity or sorority guys, like, you know, just kind of like partying, whatever. They just want to have a good time. You know, they have barbecues and they chill out and they, you know, not worry about all kinds of stuff. So anyway, they also live on the sun. The sun is so bright is because gods live on that sun and they're lighting the whole place up with their spirit or whatever. Okay? So anyway, there is this one god who would make things and it would cause a lot of problems that the other gods would have to go and clean up. So they told him, hey, listen, dude, you are not allowed to make anything anymore because we're tired of cleaning up your mess. You know, deal with it. Like, we're not having that no more. We're gonna be over here having this barbecue. We ain't got time to fool around with you. Okay? So anyway, so one day he was sitting by himself and he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna make one last thing. It's gonna be so small and so tiny. No one's even gonna know it's around. Like, whatever. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So he made these little spirits, these little sprites. You know, I guess it would be kind of like, I don't know, like a fairy, but not really a fairy. You know what I mean? They don't have wings. They don't, you know, they're just basically little balls of light or whatever. I mean, they can take a little form, you know, like a basic generic like human shaped form if they want to, but they're mostly like a life force. And he sent these little things, these little microscopic things, to a place called Limbo. And Limbo is like an old gods used to live. And they say used to live because something happened there. We don't know exactly what happened there. But something happened there and it really messed up the whole ecosystem. So now it's like the whole place is flooded with light, but everything moves very, 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 very slow. Like extremely slow. Like it could take you like 10 years to like open a door. Okay? He sends them there so they could find out what's going on with Limbo, and their task is to, you know, find out the secrets and come back and tell him what the secrets are. Okay? Because the guys don't even know what's going on with this place. So anyway, so they're doing that. They're doing that for like millions of years or however long. While that's going on, there is another set of people. And they're kind of like half gods. And there's a story behind them, but I'm not going to get into that right now because we're just talking about battery babies. So they managed to capture one of the god's children. Okay? And her name is Void. Her skin is made out of space, and she did that on purpose. Okay? She did that on purpose for another reason. Void has the ability to transport people, or transport herself, or anything really, to other dimensions. Okay, and limbo exists in an alternate dimension kind of thing. It's kind of similar to Inception. Okay, limbo is in that how time moves. Okay, not only does time move very slowly, but you physically move very slowly as well. So they capture Void and kind of learn how to manipulate her powers a little bit, and with the help of this machine, because they're half gods, right? So they know a little bit of stuff. They create this technology, and they send these scientists and military people or whatever to limbo, because they find out about limbo, and they're basically like astronauts at this point. They go and they say, oh, what's this land? And they go there, and they open this portal, and they go to this strange land. Everything's moving slowly and everything, but they have these machines with them to help them. The slow thing only affects gods, like full-fledged gods. So since they are half gods, like, they can move relatively okay, but they're not like super fast. They capture these little spirits, that the god, whose name we do not know, sent to limbo. And that's where these things come in, because these are battery babies, right? So they're actually machines. These are the machines that those people put the spirits in, the little sprites in, okay? And over time, over a period of time, they make larger clumps. The little sprites inside the machine, they made larger clumps to create like a larger consciousness. And when they do that, they begin to learn how to manipulate the machine that they're in, and become like aware, self-aware, or whatever. Right? So that's what this is. This is a machine that the little spirits are in. Okay? The reason why this story is important is because there are some parallels, or there's some allegories in here. One is this idea that these little spirits things, it's kind of like the transatlantic slave trade, right? So you have people who have their own way of being, their own laws, their own spiritual entities, their own whatever, their own system. They're dwelling in a place unbeknownst to anyone else. Someone else discovers that place, forces them into this system, to a machine that then works for them, which is slavery. Okay, so that's the allegory that battery babies are in. They're forced to be in this machine, this system that they don't really control or have control over, but over time they manipulate. They learn to manipulate the system to some degree, not as not full-fledged anything, but to some degree. And later on in the story, they kind of take over some stuff. The battery babies do, because they want to leave. Okay, and they still remember, like, hey, we're supposed to go back and report on what's the stuff that we found. This society would not exist without these battery babies, because they build everything, they help everything. They're the source of technology and all this, everything that they have. Okay, that's the basic reason why battery babies are important, because it is a allegory about the transatlantic slave trade, and also even really just any type of minority situation where a larger system, government, peoples, whatever you want to call it, go and oppress another system of peoples and exploit them. Okay, that's what this is about.